The process of researching and applying to medical school can be really long and confusing. There's a couple of exams you can do, there's something called postgraduate medicine. Like, it's a time where you're just full of questions. But hopefully after this video, you will have a better idea about how an international student can apply to medical school in Australia. Hi everyone, my name is Nisal and I'm a first year medical student, and I've structured this video to introduce you to the application requirements and the universities you can apply to with them. I'll share a bit about my journey because I think it's really important that you know a real life example of how you can get into medical school, and we'll end the video by going through a step-by-step guide on how you can apply to medical school wherever you are in your journey, whether you're only thinking about medical school or you've already sat some of the exams that we'll be discussing in this video. First off, let's talk about what undergraduate medicine and postgraduate medicine is, because it's a point of confusion for so many people. So undergraduate medicine is for students who do not have a completed degree yet. That might mean you're still in high school, or you might even be doing a degree. It could be in medical science, health science, nursing, economics, business, whichever one, but you haven't completed it yet. And these students can apply to undergraduate medicine, which is usually a program that's 5 to 6 years long. And this pathway is offered by these universities that are on the screen right now. Now, postgraduate medicine is for students who have a completed degree already. That could be in any field, in any sort of discipline. But if you have a completed degree already, you can apply to postgraduate medicine. And this is offered by these universities that are on the screen right now. The reason I clarified between undergraduate and postgraduate medicine is because the entry requirements for each of these is a bit different. We'll start with undergraduate medicine, which has 3 requirements for international students. So for undergraduate medicine in Australia, you need your high school results if you're still in high school, but if you're currently doing a certain degree, you need your current GPA, and that counts as your academic requirement, which is your first requirement. The second requirement is something called the ISAT, which stands for the International Student Admissions Test. And we'll definitely talk about this exam further on in the video. But for now, just know that you need to complete the ISAT to get into undergraduate medicine. And the third and final requirement is your English requirements, which could be your PTE or your IELTS exam. Moving on to postgraduate medicine, you also have 3 requirements. Now, as we mentioned, postgraduate medicine is for people who have a completed degree already. So you will have your GPA requirements, which counts as your academic requirement. And your second requirement is something called the GAMSAT, which again we'll talk about later in the video, but for now you just need to know that GAMSAT is required for postgraduate entry into medicine. And your third and final requirement is your English requirements. This is standard for almost all universities that I mentioned before, but the only exception is James Cook University in Townsville, who offer an undergraduate medicine program which is 6 years long, but they don't ask for your ISAT. So they only ask for your academic requirements and your English requirements. So now that we've introduced the ISAT and GAMSAT exams, let's talk a bit more about them. Now, as we mentioned, the ISAT exam is the exam you need to complete to get into undergraduate medicine in Australia. And this exam is conducted 4 times each year, and in 2026, there'll be a cycle at the end of January, at the end of April, at the end of July, and at the end of October. This exam is a 3-hour long exam where you have 100 MCQ questions, and 50 of these MCQs will be from a section called quantitative thinking, and 50 of these questions will be from a section called critical reasoning. I'll make a more detailed video in the near future about how best to tackle this exam, because there's not a lot of resources online, and if you don't want to miss out on that video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. So moving on to the GAMSAT exam, which is, like we said, the exam you need to complete to get into postgraduate medicine. This is conducted 2 times each year, in March and in September. And this is a 5-hour long exam with 3 sections. The first section is Reasoning in Humanities and Social Sciences, which is a 1-hour exam with 62 MCQ questions. The second section is a written communication section where you have 1 hour to write an essay on one of the topics that they provide. And the third section is Reasoning in Biological and Physical Sciences, which you have 150 minutes and 75 MCQs. Now I'll share a bit about how I got into medicine in Australia, because I think it's really important that you know of a real life example. So I came to Australia in 2022 to do my Bachelor's of Medical Science degree, and I completed my first year, I completed my second year, At the end of second year, I got into something called a summer scholarship program where you get to do a bit of research with some of the professors. I did the summer scholarship over like December and January, and then I entered my third year of medical science and I started doing a bit of volunteering at the children's hospital and stuff. And during my third year in July, I completed my ISAT exam and I got my results back in like 2 weeks' time. Now, the minimum requirement for the ISAT results you need is different to each university. If I had to give like a rough range, anywhere above like 160 is safe zone. But it can vary because UNSW, I know, asked for 175 ISAT score. University of Tasmania asked for 170 ISAT score, and my score was 167. But I decided to apply for all the universities that didn't ask for an application fee. I applied for Western Sydney University, I applied for James Cook University, I applied for University of Tasmania, and I applied for University of Western Australia. I applied with a GPA of 6.3. My ISAT score was 167, and my PTE results was 90. And I didn't get a reply from University of Western Australia at all. Like they didn't even tell me I was rejected. But the University of Tasmania was nice enough to let me know that they rejected me because my ISAT score wasn't 170. I was fortunate enough to get an interview from Western Sydney University and James Cook University. I had my interview with both of them and I thankfully got offers from both of them as well. But I decided to go with Western Sydney University because it's the place I did my Bachelor's of Medical Science also, so I was very familiar with the area and Sydney. On top of that, Western Sydney has a 5-year medical program, whereas JCU's program is 6 years. So I definitely wanted to get into the program that was shorter. So I chose Western Sydney University. And the reason I mentioned the research and the volunteering that I did before is just because I'm pretty sure it boosted my application. And to let you know that there are more ways that you can kind of elevate your application other than just your academic results. And next, I want to talk about a step-by-step guide on how you can apply to medical school wherever you are in your journey. Now, if we're starting from the beginning, I'm assuming you just are interested about medical school in Australia. And if you're a high school student studying in Australia, you should aim for the highest ATA that you can, or the ATA equivalent, which could be like your A-level results. If you're in Sri Lanka, I think India has their board exams. So whichever exam that is, aim for the highest score, which will give you the best chance of getting into the undergraduate medicine pathway straight away. And considering you're still in high school, you should definitely be only thinking about your undergraduate medicine pathway. And if you're currently doing your degree and you're in first or second year, you can definitely apply to undergraduate medicine unless you want to complete that certain degree and then apply for postgraduate medicine. So kind of decide what you want to do with your current degree and then you can start looking into undergraduate or postgraduate medicine depending on what you like. And once you know if you're applying for undergraduate medicine or postgraduate medicine, now you can start looking at which exam you need to complete, which is either your ISAT or your GAMSAT. Make sure to know when the exam is held, when the registration is, because I missed my deadline to register for the GAMSAT. That's why I had to do the ISAT and then, got into the undergraduate medical pathway, even though I was already in my third year of medical science. But hey, I'm in medicine now, I'm not complaining. Once you know all of that about the ISAT and GAMSAT exams, you should definitely start looking at a few universities as well. They always have their minimum requirements listed on the website. Or you can directly email them and ask. Because like I said, the ISAT score could be different and the GAMSAT score is definitely different as well. Their academic requirements could be different as well. I know that a few universities ask for an ATA above 95. And when I was still in Sri Lanka, when I was thinking of applying straight from high school, James Cook University was asking for my A-level results, which was 1A and 2Bs. But Western Sydney University was asking for straight 3As. So it can be a bit different. And if you're doing your degree, if you're in first year, universities usually ask for a GPA above 6.3. That's your minimum requirement. Could be different with each university, so definitely check. If you're applying after your second year, I think you need a GPA of above 5.7, around that. And if you're applying after your third year in your current degree, you have to get a minimum requirement of 5.2 or 5.3. Above that you can apply, higher the better of course, but yeah, that's your minimum requirement. And once you know your minimum requirements and which universities you can apply to, you've done your ISAT and your GAMSAT, You've got your academic requirements, whether that's GPA or high school results. You can apply to medical school either directly to the university, or you can go through an agent and apply to medical school. And once you successfully looked better in your application than the other thousands of people who are applying, you will get an interview, which will be an amazing experience for sure, but also a very stressful time because you need to do well. And my interview was online, so I had to be the most presentable as possible over Zoom. And my biggest recommendation for doing well on your interview is just watch YouTube videos, see what kind of questions they ask and how you should like structure your questions. And the next stage is accepting your offer, which is a great feeling when you get that offer in the email. I still remember mine. Oh, that was a great day. I called my parents, I called my friends. I was like, oh my god, I've got medicine, that's crazy. And if you have gotten an offer, congratulations, because you have been picked over thousands of other applicants, and you should be very proud because it is a big achievement. And that's it for me, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. If you're keen to have a sneak peek into what my medical school experience was like in first year, make sure to check out this video, and I'll definitely catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.